Hey everyone. Today I thought I'd give you a little sneak peek into the shooter template that I've been working on. More specifically, I wanted to showcase the body damage component that I recently finished and I'm very happy with. But for those who don't know, the shooter template is a project I've been working on in CryEngine. It's designed to be an alternative to the first and third person templates that are available. I find that those templates are really lacking in features that you'd want in a first or third person shooter, and I feel like this template will just show off more of what CryEngine has to offer and how to do certain things in CryEngine. This template basically is going to be first and third person. You can swap between the two with just a button press. It's going to have IK based aiming, so looking up and down is IK based, and then it's got collision. It's also got collision between characters, which is something the template doesn't have because it's using a bad way of checking collisions, I think. And then it'll also have some AI, some UI, and then some minor networking. I'm not sure how much networking it'll have, but because that's a whole nother beast. But it'll have some just to show off in the template. But the main focus today was specifically on the body damage component. So to show that, I have two characters here. I have this character, which is the one that'll be with the template, and then this is the one that's default with the templates that I'll just keep included probably in the project. And if I shoot it, you'll see in the console log down there in the bottom left that it registers a hit. It registers other, and then the amount of damage. The base damage of a bullet just currently is hard coded to 10, just for showing this little component. And then if I aim and shoot him in the head, you'll notice that it changes. It recognizes that I shot him in the head and that the amount of damage I'm doing is now 20, which is just a multiplier of the base damage. So in this case, it's just 2. And then how that works is the proxy system in CryEngine, which if you're unfamiliar with that, proxies in CryEngine are just basically physical things that get added to the joints. It's just physicalizing the joints, and you can see those with the little console variable here, turning it on, and you can see it here. And these are used for collision detection and for ragdolling, and they're really easy to set up. And I'll show you that here in just a second if you've never set up physics proxies before. But that's how the component works. So it's just based off of these physics proxies that you add. The bullet collides with whatever proxy it is, and then sends through the physics. It'll send the part ID that it collided with, and the tool just checks that with a map and gets the part for you, and you can apply additional damage to it when that happens. And to show that, we have the character here. I'll be using entities personally, but you can do it however you want. You have your entities in the scene if you want, and then you add this component, this body damage component that you see here, and it's got an array, and this array has part definitions. And right now you see I have the joint name head that does multiplier 2. So whenever the head is registered as hit, it'll automatically multiply the damage by 2. But if we want to add another joint, we can do that just by adding another element into the array. And then we need the joint name. So if you don't know the joint names of your character off the bat, it's easy to get. All you have to do is just go into your character tool, load up the character that has the proxies that you're working with. I usually hit this proxy button up here. What that'll do is that'll load them all up into the properties list, so you can see them here. Head, one thing that we were hitting, as you noticed, all you have to do is just take that name and plug it in. You remove the $sign though. The $sign is just there for letting you know it's a proxy. Don't include that in the tool and the component itself. And then if you want another one, all you have to do is just get the name. So you can take it from here. You can read it in the viewport there if you just maybe increase the size if it's hard to read the names. Or what I like to do is I hold shift and then just highlight the proxy that I'm trying to change it, maybe an area like a chest area, I know it's the spine areas. I could add all 3, for example, or pelvis in this case. I could look down there and hey, there's the pelvis. So let's go ahead and add the pelvis to the tool. So to the component. So I go ahead and go down here, type in pelvis, and then the amount of damage I want it to do. We'll say 1.5. Getting shot in the crotch hurts, right? We go ahead and add that, and then if I start aiming and shooting in the pelvis area, you'll notice it immediately applies. It recognizes that pelvis is what it wants to listen for and apply extra damage to. And then all the others are others, and then the head is immediately it's still the same, right? And the tool, that's basically how the component works. It's designed to be super simple and add to any project. All you have to do is just get from every physics collision, it's going to have a part ID. You just have to pass that part ID to the component, and that's what I do. I use another component. It's an interface because I go with a slightly decoupled approach, but basically the I take damage interface just allows me to connect to the body damage in a more abstract way. And then all I do is just pass the amount of damage. Like I said, it was hard coded to 10, and then the part ID from the physics collision. And in this case, it's the second one in the array, because the first one is the object that collided, or in this case, the projectile, and then the object it hit, getting the part ID. That's the second one, which is what I am passing into the body damage tool, which is then checking a map for all the colliders that you set, and if those part IDs match, then it'll apply extra damage for you and then tell you the name that it collided with. And then a couple other features of the component. One is they're the debugging features, just for in case you make any mistakes. So like, for example, let's say you do a joint name that doesn't exist, pickles, or maybe you just misspelled one. You'll notice right when I load in, it'll let you know, hey, this character, this entity in the scene, on its body damage component can't find the joint that you specified pickles. So you can go in here and fix it. Or what if, for example, you do 2 of the same joint names? Then if you do that, it'll also log that for you too, to let you know. They're just warnings, just to let you know in case something's not working right. Probably just to help you find out what's the problem there. And that's just because you have 2 of the same name, so it's going to be an issue with damage recognition. It's going to recognize the second one, and head damage all of a sudden is 0. Those are just a couple parts added. And then, like I said, I designed this to be drag and drop into any project, or you can use it with this one. And it's really easy to set up a character for it. I wanted to show that with the other character that I have here. It doesn't have any proxies, doesn't have that component on it. All it has is the character component, and that's just to pass the damage to from the collision. That's the only reason it's there. And then I just slapped on a rigid body to hold it still, and to recognize collisions, and then animation, so it has a model there. So if we want to, all we have to do is go in here, and then we need to add the body component, and then we add the parts. So we need to get those parts. It is a different model. It's a different character with different skeletons. So the joint names are going to be different than the names on this one, unless you're using the same skeleton, which we're not in this case. So we'll go ahead and get the joint names though. So we'll go into the SWAT. We'll load it up. We'll click on the proxy button there to load up. You'll see there's no current proxies, so we need to add them. To add proxies is really simple. There's a video out there in case you want to know how that all works. It's done by the CryEngine team. It's a great video on proxies and ragdolls, because that's what these proxies are for, is for physics collision and ragdollizing. And it's a great video. I'd encourage you watching that if you're interested, but I'll just give you a quick rundown of how that works. So if you want to add a physics proxy, all you do is hold shift over the object you want to add it to, and then click it. And then you'll see it immediately adds it. You could do it the other way, where you just add it one by one through this little array thing here, but that's a bit of a hassle. So we'll do it this way. And then you add it, it'll add a shape, and immediately you have a proxy that just needs to be saved. But there is one issue I've noticed, and that is that a single proxy doesn't save for some reason. I don't know if that's a bug in CryEngine or what, but if I try to save it, you'll see that the asterisk is still there. If I load up another model and then try to save it by just clicking on it and then saving it with it not loaded in the viewport, and then I reload it, the proxy's gone. I don't know why it doesn't save. If I close out of the editor and come back in, it just doesn't save the proxy whenever there's just one. I don't know why that is, but that's what I found. So what you usually have to do is add several, at least 2, I find. So that's what we'll do. We'll add 3 in this case. So we'll go ahead and add one to the head. We'll add one to the spine, and then we'll add one to the hips. And then we'll go ahead and change those shapes, because arrow shapes. We'll switch those to spheres. Move this one up a little bit. Shrink it down just a little bit, and then we'll go to the second one. We'll change that one to a sphere, that one down, lower it. And then this is, like I said before, this is also for the proxy system. So hips 1, and we'll drop that down. It's supposed to be the hips. So how the proxy, or for how ragdoll, you can test it, just so you can see it. Press F1, it simulates it, but that's what our ragdoll will look like. It'll look kind of weird. The arms won't be there, so they'll be stiff, and the body will do that. But that's what these are for. So they're both for collision detection and for ragdolling, which I can even show you after this. Just quick show how easy it is to get ragdoll set up in CryEngine. So we have those joints that we added, those proxies, I mean. And then we just remember the names, and then we need to save it. So I notice if I save it, the asterisk is still there. I don't, closing it all out and saving it might work, but I find that the easiest way to check to see if it saves the proxies, or the easiest way to save it, is to click on another model and load it into the viewport, and then just select the model we just added the proxies to, and then hit save. Not in the viewport, it's just selected, hit save, and it's then I load it back up into the viewport, and you'll see the proxies are there, and that means that they did actually save. And so that's how I get the proxies to save. You might have your own way, but that's the way I find that works really easy. And then so we have our proxies added. You don't see them in the scene, but that's fine. You just have to load the level. And we'll see the new proxies that we have, and then we'll add the body parts. So we have one. We did the first one, the head, and you'll notice it wasn't just head, it was also a Mixamo rig. So you just do the name of the joint, which was Mixamo rig head. And in this case, we'll do multiply by 3 because, you know, his armor's inferior to the one on the left or something, right? And then we'll do another one. In this case, we'll do Mixamo rig spine 02. What was it? Spine 2. I think was the other one we did. We'll say that, and then we'll leave the pelvis alone, and then that way you can just see that it registers it as a collision, but it doesn't do any additional damage because we didn't set it there. We'll go ahead and play gun. If I shoot it in the pelvis or in the hips area, nothing. If I shoot it in the spine 2, it recognizes that, hey, that's a joint on the body. We'll go ahead and apply the extra damage to, shoot it in the head times 3. And that's it. That's all that's needed to get this component working for you in yours, or just in this template when that's available. Oh, and I wanted to show the ragdolling thing, how easy it is. So we just take our character. All you have to do is add a ragdoll component to it. And then we'll go ahead and turn it to resting so it doesn't immediately ragdoll the moment I hit play. And then all I have to do is just hit play. And well, we might want to, why that's probably because it's not set to the bottom joint. So we'll do ragdoll, we'll do, oh, I didn't set it to resting. Whoops, set the rigid body to rest. My mistake. Okay, so then we hit it, the bullet, and immediately ragdolls the moment we press it. And then normally I'd handle this in code, so it's not just a single bullet causes it, but you know, like maybe after the character dies, adds the ragdoll component. And then you can do it with the other one too, it's really easy. Add ragdoll. Go ahead and put that one as resting, and we'll also do, not on the not on the rigid body again, resting, and we'll also do extra stiff mode just because it likes to move with all those proxies. This, and then just shoot it anywhere. If I shoot it in the arm, ragdoll. So that's how easy it is just to get ragdoll set up in CryEngine, which I really like how simple that is. But yeah, that's the showing of the component. It's going to be included, of course, in this template. I am working diligently on this component, or on this template, to get it done as soon as possible. Hopefully have that soon for you. Once I do, like I said, it'll be free for you. I'll put it on my GitHub or on the CryEngine marketplace. And I hope you enjoy what you saw, and thank you for watching. Bye.